Namaskar. Again we meet face to face. Right. So today the subject came up because the other day one of my old friends called to say how he was depressed because all this COVID thing is going on and he's feeling desperate and this that. So I said, innocently I said, okay, read the Bhagavad Gita. He said, shut up, man. I thought you will be a sensible guy. You're talking like those guru types. I am asking you how to get out of the... Read the Bhagavad Gita. Next you will say, use vibrations to make the krona go away and all kinds of nonsense. I don't want to hear all that. I am asking after what will I do with the Gita, he said. See, this is the situation. People think Gita is about vibrations and... Anyway, so this made me think, why is it that people don't understand their own scriptures? Why? Gita has been around for ages. So I thought I should tell, first I told him, I reprimanded him. I said, you know, you are the perfect type. I think in 1835, I have the note somewhere here. In 1835, I don't know how many people know this, Thomas Babington Macaulay, who brought English education to India, said, now in his own words, he said, I got it somewhere here in the papers, he said, when you teach English to Indians, the idea was not just to teach a language. He said, these fellows will become, he didn't say fellows, he said they will become a class of persons, listen carefully, a class of persons, Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, in opinions, in morals and intellect. So I told him, this is what your education is there, but you are totally uneducated in the ancient texts of this country. You have no idea what that was. When I say read the Gita, oh shut up, you're not. Gita is precisely a text which is useful even in this situation. That's why I said, let's say, relevance of Gita now. Gita, it's relevant even in this situation. So what is Gita all about? Don't confuse it with the ordinary term of a religious text. That's the thing. It's not just in the conventional way religious. In the Gita as well as in the Upanishad and in the Vedanta, religious means not rituals and what religion you belong to, it's religiosity, which means how to find out your true essence. Who are you? Where have you come from? This is what the Upanishads teach and this is what the Gita teaches. The essence of the Gita is how to discover your connection with the supreme all-pervading consciousness, that inside you is a spark of the divine and how to get there. But in this process, Gita doesn't say that, well, let's forget the historicity of the Gita. There are these things coming up usually. Oh, how can you talk about the philosophy in a battlefield? When was it written? Let's forget the historicity debate right now and go to the actual Gita. Let's say where Vyasa wrote it, it doesn't matter. Now, look at the Gita, how it's written. It's part of the Mahabharata, set in Mahabharata. And the setting is, the scene starts with the battlefield. Arjuna, the prince of the Pandava clan, leads the battle in his chariot into the Kurukshetra. And who is his charioteer? Krishna, son of Devaki, son of Vasudeva, also a Yadava prince, and according to Vyasa, a manifestation of divinity. He doesn't say it, but Vyasa says he's a manifestation of divinity. Krishna declares that much later. So here is this character, Krishna, driving the chariot of Arjuna in, and Arjuna is sitting there ready to fight, and he looks, there are all these formidable warriors standing, including his own grandsire, Bhishma in front, and then the verge of the battle, suddenly Arjuna says, I'm not going to fight. I'm going to put down my bow. This is not the place to fight. Do you see any similarity to the situation we are facing today? Or not? Will we get so desperate and say, oh, I'm fed up, I can't fight this? And when Arjuna says that, Krishna, the great psychologist, talks to him and makes him understand that he is putting down his weapon and refusing to fight is not because of any respect for elders or anyone out on the other side, because of fear of defeat. So the whole of the Gita is work and don't worry too much if you are defeated, but get up again and start working. It's karma yoga, therefore is an explanation of how to work without, how to move towards a goal without being discouraged and depressed. And this again is applicable to us here. Now, the Gita has 18 chapters. I hope at least you know that. It has 18 chapters. I won't compare it with the golf link course right now because it's all done. I'm not going to talk about it. 18 holes and so on. Anyway, so it has 18 chapters. And look at the first chapter. Very similar to the situation that we face. The first chapter is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. If you literally translate it, it means the yoga of Arjuna's depression. Arjuna is passing through a depression and Krishna is trying to save him from the depression. Isn't it relevant? You have not read the Gita, so you are saying, oh, what are you talking about? This is what it is. Go back to your roots, read these wonderful books. So anyway, so then from that start, Krishna pulls him up, lifts him up from his depressed spirits, and then each chapter is a description of an entire way of life. Every chapter is called an yoga. At the end of every chapter of the Gita is declared, Idi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. That means, Yoga Shastra means the way to work towards a goal. This is yoga. Every chapter. So after Arjuna's depression, then it goes on to Sankhya, where Krishna describes the whole cosmogony of this earth and the universe, and about how to touch the essence of being, one has to learn the great philosophy of Sankhya of Kapila. And then he goes on and on and on. Each chapter, Karma Yoga, Sannyasa Yoga, Purushottama Yoga, one by one, where he describes the whole system, the whole cosmogony and man's connection with the divine. He says to Arjuna, remember this, you have a human body and individuality, but actually you are a spark of the divine. And the whole process, how to get there, and while getting there, to stay in this world and face the world and fight the world. Wherever you feel down, stand up. When Arjuna feels very depressed, Krishna calls him Mahabaho, oh, one with mighty arms. So Arjuna, oh yeah, okay, stand up. So you see, it's a philosophy, it's a psychology, it's a practical work on yoga. So it goes each chapter by chapter. Now in one of the chapters, most interesting thing is, Krishna describes the state of being called the Sthita Prajna, where in the midst of all circumstances, one learns how to remain tranquil, quiet and collected. Isn't this what we want right now in this situation? Yes or no? Yes. I think yes. So, Sthita Prajna is a beautiful concept explained where Krishna says, for the true yogi, which means for a man who is striving towards perfection. Let's define yoga this way. It doesn't matter what somebody calls you or what somebody thinks about you. You should know that you are a spark of the divine. Full stop. Finish. Which means, whether someone, Tulya Ninda Sutirmauni, whether someone calls you, abuses you, or praises you, The perfect man is one who considers both as equal and doesn't fall for either, but carries on with his life, works towards success. Then you come to the 6th chapter, which is Dhyana Yoga. This again is very important for us at this moment because it describes step by step how to meditate, how to sit, where to sit, and before meditation, what are the yama niyamas one should prepare oneself, and how the mind is to be made tranquil, and so on and so forth. Then you come to the different chapters. Now the 12th chapter is important because before that, in the 11th chapter, Arjuna suddenly realizes that this Krishna who is sitting in front of him cannot be defined by his little understanding, but it is much beyond. It's called the Vishwarupa Darsana. Before that, Arjuna's mind is broken out of the ordinary conditionings of logic, which is dependent on the 5 senses. Because suddenly Krishna changes his tune and says, oh, Arjuna thinks he's his good friend, he's his relative, he's the son of Devaki and so on. But Krishna says, among the mountains I am the Meru, among the immovables I am the Himachala, among the Munis I am Sankhya. And Arjuna is thinking, who's this guy? I thought he was Devaki's son. So it strikes Arjuna that he is now breaking down even his limited understanding of who he is. And then, in the chapters follow, Krishna describes to Arjuna, not only is he a spark of the Supreme, but he also is a spark of it's not as if two are different. He says to Arjuna, in your true essence, Arjuna, you and I are not different. We are the same. Except that you haven't learned the lessons. You need to learn the lessons. We have passed through many births. In fact, he says, look, I have passed through many births. You have passed through many births. The only difference is I know and you don't know. So the movement is towards understanding that there is one Supreme Reality who functions from different centers, and therefore our job is to do your work and not get depressed and move forward. Then there is a beautiful chapter in between, the 15th chapter called Purushottama Yoga, where an upside down tree is described. Now this is very interesting, even in this context. Normally, for us, life means to go out, to meet people, to interact with others, to expand our business. We are forced now in this shutdown to sit inside, not do any of these things. So we are almost in a kind of a reverse to our lives. Instead of going out, we are going in. And this upside down tree is a wonderful symbology to show that while man normally goes from the particular to the universal, here the idea is to go from the universal to the particular. The whole process is reversed. In fact, it also is a symbol, the upside down Urdhva Moolam Mathashakam Ashwatham Prahuravyayam, the Ashwatha tree, which is upside down. In the human body, the roots are up above also, and the branches are down below. Where is the control coming from? Where is everything coming from? Here. And where are the branches? Here. But you have to study the branches before you reach the root. The leaves are supposed to be the Vedas. Urdhvamulam athashyakam ashwattamba chandamsi yasya parnani, one who reads the chandas of the leaves, yastam veda savida, he is supposed to have understood the Vedas. So, all I am trying to say that the Gita and such texts like the Upanishads and so on, they are the basic fundamental teachings of the ancient rishis, and they are to be understood, they have to be read. Don't dismiss them saying there is no mumbo jumbo in any of these things. No astrology, no mumbo jumbo, no nothing. It's just a straight understanding of the human relationship with the divine, and how once you have understood it, with the energy that is in you, you can do works which normally one would think cannot be done. So I think it's quite relevant under the circumstances, because here we are anyway shut in, we can't go out. Instead of being depressed and worrying about it, please understand, one day you're going to go out anyway. Sit down, let your mind relax, read the Gita, find out your true essence, get fully charged with the energy that comes from within. Don't allow your mind to go down. The Gita says your mind can be your friend, your mind can also be your enemy. Develop the friend and not the enemy. Look at the friendly part of your mind. Aren't all these teachings relevant? I think it's very clear, especially now that we are sitting here saying, oh, what's happened to us. Don't say that. Say what's happened to us. It's a good situation for us to learn and go beyond the body and mind. This is the thought that should occur. And if you don't know your textbooks, how do you know it? So I'm saying go back, get a good translation of the Gita, read it. Try to figure out what are the teachings here, how relevant they are to this, what we are passing through. And don't stop. Don't give way to depression. Swami Vivekananda, quoting from the Upanishad, said, Uttishta jagrata prapya varanya bodhat. Arise, awake, and stop not till your goal is reached. So do that. And I would say that the people who are at the helm of affairs, I'm talking about our country, the doctors who are bravely going out and fighting this disease, testing, treating, trying their best to get patients admitted and looked after. So those who are the helm of affairs, those doctors and medical personnel who are out in the open, not even caring for their lives, I think these are the warriors of the Pandava clan standing here. And what is this COVID, this corona? I think these are the Kauravas. You just make the C into K is corona and Kaurava. So this is the Kaurava. So my prayer is that may these brave warriors, especially the medical personnel who are out there in the open, may they fight this battle and win, understanding that they have the blessings of the Supreme Being. And so may we move forward in this, instead of feeling depressed and going down, may we be full of energy and enthusiasm, move forward. Let us hear the formidable sound of the Panchajanya conch that Krishna blew as he took the chariot into the battlefield. And you know the result. The Pandavas won the battle and the Kauravas lost. So I think all of us, if we behave like brave warriors, follow the rules, stay home, meditate, establish a connection with the inner, then we would have also won the battle at the end, and the Bhagavad Gita and the Kurukshetra will be fully justified. So that's why I said that the Gita is a very relevant textbook for us at this moment. Both for keeping your mind quiet, go to the 6th chapter, Dhyana Yoga. To be tranquil, look at the way Krishna asks Arjuna to fight. So fight, don't give up. Cultivate the good side of the mind, the friendly side of the mind, and stay calm and tranquil. Be a sthita prajna. Things may come and go. You might have to go. Above all, let me say again that it is the doctors and the medical personnel who are out in the open who are the greatest of warriors in this war that is going on right now, and we sure are going to succeed and win the war. There is no question about this. Thank you very much. Namaste.